Right in the middle, I guess, of Sasolburg, and a big industrial city, as it were, because of what happens at Sasol across the road there. But we're at a lovely complex right in the middle of the township here, the Harigwala Multi-Purpose Center, which I think was erected sometime last year. Sports facilities and conference facilities. It's a really great venue, and this is where we're going to have the latest conversation on this series of New Age business briefings brought to you by the SABC. And we have an audience here at the venue, and we'll also be looking forward to hearing from you at home via Twitter or email. And if you're in the Free State in particular, perhaps in Zamdela, if there's an issue that you'd like to raise with our guests that I'm going to introduce to you now, please be part of this conversation. And I'm sure that there are issues that are going on here, successes that perhaps you, wherever you are in the country, can learn from and take to your executive mayors and to your MECs and say, look, this is what they did in the Free State. We'd like to see that happening here. Well, let's have that conversation. And to help us through that, to talk about some of the successes and some of the challenges still being faced, it's my great pleasure to welcome, starting on my right here, the MEC for Human Settlements and Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, MEC Sarah Mlamleli. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, listeners.
And next to you, we have the Executive Mayor of Metsimaholo Municipality, where we are here. Executive Mayor Brutus Mahlaku, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to you.
Good morning, Peter, and the audience. Thank you very much.
And next to you, someone who's no stranger, certainly, to us. And he's always smiling these days because his province, is #1 in education in Matric. And so, MEC for Education, Tate Mahwe, it was a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Peter. And we need to defend #1.
And next to you, perhaps somebody that you're not very familiar with, but he is the Director General for the provincial government of the Free State, Mr. Kopung Ralikhonsane. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter, and also thank you to our viewers at home.
All right. Okay, let's start with you, MEC Mlamleli. Housing, human settlements, corporate governance, traditional affairs. And I think the one that stands out and jumps out is that of human settlements. It wasn't that long ago when we had the public protector in the province looking at RDP housing and the backlog and some of the challenges that the people of the province were facing. Take us from that point, the complaints that had been raised, what the public protector had raised as concerns, and where we are now in terms of moving this key issue of finding homes and settlements for our people.
Thank you, Peter, but I think I must start by commenting about the panel. There is no 50%, it's only 1%, but it will be addressed. Peter, when you come to the good story. We have a good story. And also let me start by the issues raised by the public protector, and the public protector listened to the communities. We immediately jumped in because the main issue was the cleaning of the beneficiary list. That has been cleaned. We went to Kronstadt in particular to check that whoever that has been approved are going to occupy the houses. That has been addressed. And the other issue was with regard to the quality of houses. The good story is that our houses are of quality. The good story is that people are happy to live in those houses. We know that in the whole country, the size of the house is 40 square meters. But in this province, we have 50 square meters for houses. I think that one is a good story to tell. It's a nice place to live in. I think the other thing, Peter, is that I want to share with the audience that we have 270 subsidies that we issued. Together with that, we have issued 154,000 title deeds for people to own their land, for people to be proud, for people to gain their dignity, to say now we own houses. We are not only dealing with houses in the township, Peter. We are also building houses in agri villages keeping people on the farms, continue for them to do their skills. There we build houses, 50 square meters. The houses that we have in Agri villages are the same that we have in Sasolburg, in Bloemfontein, and so forth. Peter, one other thing that I want to share as a good story, previously before 1994, we had houses that were very bad, 2-roomed houses. And those 2-roomed houses, Peter, and the audience, they were not really giving our elders chance to talk about the elderly issues, to talk about what they want and plan. But in this province, we are demolishing them and build better houses, 2 bedrooms, a dining room and a sitting room, a smart and beautiful toilet for them to get their dignity. And that is what is really a good story to tell. Peter, one thing again, before 1994, you go to Kwakwa, a place called Blue Gambush. There were also terrible houses there, 1-door house. If it is 1-door house, my audience, then it means there is no exit door. We are also demolishing them, and then we build better houses. But at all times, we are next to the engineers to come with professional advice.
All right, okay, we're going to unpack a lot of those issues because I think on the one side, definitely there is a good story to tell. On the other, I guess, is wondering how long that list has become, but we'll unpack that in a short while. Executive Mayor Matlago, your municipality has been through some challenges. It's gone through some difficult times, and in fact, some weather conditions left your municipality devastated, the tornado that came through. How have you come through that? And those people who lost their homes and damage to infrastructure, has that been dealt with?
Thank you very much, Peter. Sometimes in 2013, more than 1,300 houses were demolished, were affected by the disaster. But I want to stand up here today and say to the South Africans and the people of Metsimaholo, in partnership with the support of the provincial executive, the leadership, we have got the best leadership in the Free State, in the executive. They have been able to assist, millions of rands have been spent. Remember the disaster that affected that section of the area, Anelia. It affected both private as well as government-built houses. All of them, some roofs were taken, some walls fell, but as we are speaking today, we can go there. Of course, we're still on the progress to deal with all those houses that were affected, but there's a good progress. There's a good progress. The people in that area are happy. We are also proud. On Saturday, we were able to take the president to that area. And the president and his team were also very excited with the progress that the government, the municipality in partnership with the Provincial Department of Human Settlement have done.
Okay, all right, great. Again, we'll unpack some of the very local issues with you in a short while. MEC for Education, top performing province of 2013. Are you going to repeat that in 2014? What have you learnt from 2013 that you're going to carry forward, and what improvements have you put through?
Well, Peter, I think the first thing I want to say is that we need to remember what the founding president of South Africa have said about education. And that he said that education is the most important tool that you can use to change the world. And I think based on that, one of the things that excites me is that the current president, President Zuma, when he came to power, he made sure that education becomes an apex priority. And sometimes people forget that in South Africa we had big shortage of schools. And today we pride ourselves that today 98% of the children who are supposed to be in school are in school. And in this province, in the past 20 years, we have built 185 new schools. And in the past 5 years, we've built about 18 schools. And these schools that we have been building now, more recently, after education being declared an apex priority, We have been including making sure that those schools have got school halls. So school halls are no more an exclusive privilege of the few. You've got admin blocks, you've got ICT labs, we've got all the facilities, maths labs that we are building in our schools. And I think we are in the right way where education will play its role to move South Africa forward. I think it's a very important and good story to tell.
All right, okay. Again, something that we'll unpack, and perhaps some of the things that you did right that other provinces can learn from, we'll unpack that, coming up. But next to you, Director General for the province, one thing that was brought up by MEC here is Agri villages. And there's a project that I would like us to chat a little bit about, Diyatalawa. What is this as a concept, and what are your hopes for it? What is it supposed to do?
No, thanks, Peter. You know, this is part of the comprehensive rural development program. It's a nationally driven program, and this program that the MEC has spoken about has been our pilot program in the area closer to Harrismith, about 20 kilos closer to Harrismith, called Diyatalawa and Makgolokweng in the neighborhood. Makgolokweng is almost a traditional community. So there we had ensured that we are able to provide comprehensive services. In the area of Diyatalawa, for an example, the people that stay on the farm, they're close to 35 to 40 households, have an access to a peach trees orchard there that they are working on, apples as well. They are also working on a dairy that the provincial government has helped them to establish there. There's a school that has been built on that, and hostels, teachers' cottages, and houses, as the MEC has indicated. Even the houses built for those rural people are actually more than 60 square meters, to ensure that we are able to also promote people that stay in rural areas. We've also been able to work on the roads to ensure that there's complete accessibility to the area as well. So this is our model, and we are rolling it out from Makgolokweng, also in smaller towns, in the area of Van Stadenstress, in the area of Cornelia. We have been actually trying to pilot and ensuring that rural communities are also taken into consideration.
All right, okay. Again, we'll unpack that project and what it can mean in other parts of the country as well, and how it's affected the lives of people on the ground. And we're going to do all of that after this break, and we want you at home to be part of this conversation at Morning Live, SABC, hashtag TNA BizBrief. I know some of you sometimes use at Peter Ndoro, at Leanne Manis as well. So please, Morning Live, SABC, hashtag TNA BizBrief. Let's see what your thoughts are. You've heard opening thoughts from our panel here. We're going to also hear from our guests that are here in this particular venue. And all of that still to come after this break.